Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for DOGWIFHAT. Now, if you've been following along, we've been mapping it out since this low in wave 2. Got in it pretty early. Moved about 10x in price. I still remember when it was at like 300 million. We were like, can this get to 3 billion? And we got well above that, which is nice. So it's nice when you're on the right path. But as of right now, mapping out this 5-wave move to the upside, which is a wave 1 and 2 in blue, you can see. Targets for our third is up at 196 in blue. And as we were mapping this out, I was trying to figure out the path in which we get there where the account makes sense. So as of right now, in a 5th wave of the third, and I believe we are making a ending diagonal, which is what we would expect is either an impulse or an ending diagonal. Now off our smaller 1-2, we extended up just about the 1.786 extension of wave 1 off wave 2, had a very shy wave 4 right here, and now I believe we are in the ending diagonal, so we should expecting higher highs moving forward, in which case once we reach this around $5 mark, I'd expect a larger correction. Gonna have to see what happens at that area, but as of right now it does appear we're making a ending diagonal, which is indication that this trend is coming to a close, at least in the short term, where we get a larger correction about the same size as wave 2 here for our wave 4. All right, so let's go down to the smaller time frames. So this was our messy chart, got a lot going on here. This was our shy correction there for our 4th wave in the third. If you remember, we were tracking that. You can go back and look. We ended up hitting just the 618 on linear scale. And then we were getting this move to the upside. And this is from last video. I suggested either we hold this pitchfork and move up to make a 5-wave impulse, or we collapse and we're most likely making an ending diagonal. So you can see the ending diagonal scenario played out. On log scale, we came to the 786 retracement of this move to the upside in 3. I actually have this as a expanded flat, most likely with a diagonal here at the end. Again, pretty tough count though. It's either a diagonal or a WXY, right? But the best count I have is our wave 1 up at this high. Came just shy of the 1.618 extension of this first wave up as a diagonal. So as of right now, expecting this pivot to hold. That's where my stop is. I moved it to 2.06. That's the issue with guidelines in Elliott Wave. If you don't anticipate a diagonal, you'll probably get stopped out just past the 618. But you know diagonals can get pretty deep retracements. So I had my stop at the low, and as soon as we started pivoting here, I moved it up today at 206, came to the 786. Okay, so areas where we flip to the trend continuation, this just gets probabilities on our side. When you hear me say that word, it's past the 618 of this move to the downside at 299.42. That's when I will get confident on my count. And if we get 5 waves up here as an A wave complete, I'll probably leverage up and throw the extra capital I have between this area into this trade setup just to leverage up. But as of now, I was targeting these out as a diagonal. And what we would expect if we were working on log scale is the 3rd wave between the 1.236 and 382. Then we get our 4th and our 5th up around 598. So you can see we're getting a little bit of conflict for targeting when we're targeting that 497. But if we switch to linear scale, we're pretty close. We get that 3rd wave right between the 236 and the 382, then get our 4th wave. We might overlap, we might not. Remember, we don't have to with the new Elliott Wave rules. and we might get a overthrow of the 1.618, just like a spike through, and then reject. So that's the way I see it most likely playing out. I just threw on a modified pitchfork, which is just a channel. If you take from these low pivots here, you can see it's just a channel. Since we're mapping out most likely a diagonal, it can be adjusted slightly, but I just use this as a guideline to begin with. And you can see I put my labels on linear scale at the 1.236382 and the 618 right there. Adjust it back to log, and it fits nicely within this pitchfork. So we'll see. I might get that extra spike at the 5th up to around $5, and then reject to the downside after this pans out. But again, we'll have to see what sort of moves we get here. Watching this one very closely. Again, I am long, looking to take profit around $5 unless something different here happens. If we get very explosive, obviously we have to readjust and have to relook at this count. But right now it is mapping out as a diagonal very nicely. My stop currently is at 206. And probability shift above $3 that we're moving to the upside. So yep, everything looks good. Long here. Just expecting this to make a series of threes. Get us to target like we suggested as our count last video. All right, guys, that's it for DOGWIFHAT. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.